thoughts, please, brother?
So looking at those first 4 game types in particular, these two teams have actually scrimmed each other. The last scrim actually went 5-3 in favor of exceL. And 2 of the first 4 game types actually went in exceL's favor in that particular scrimmage. So I would be surprised if we see a 4-0 in this case. Obviously, Empire Strongholds is game number 1. Infused took it in that series. So we'll see if it's the same in this one.
Player to watch in this series?
I think it has to be Quad, in my opinion. He's the new man on Infused. I think it's only fair we start off with him. But in the scrim that I alluded to just before, he actually had a 2.14 KAD. That's a kills assist divided by deaths. So Quad, definitely a player to look out for here on this Infused squad. I actually honestly want to stay with him through the respawn to see what he can do.
Oh, we'll do that. Fair enough. A little bit of bad luck there, but they did at least manage to get that OS guy down, straight out the window, looking onwards. No one on his team tagging up the stronghold off the spawn. They all rushed to push out, which is absolutely fair play. He has obviously come off that death screen, and now he will transition back to at least clean it up. Does turn around, though. Snaky there to take out Shady and give him some support. We will see Blue Base now in control of Blue. Grenades go down, managing to stay alive. I mean, this is exactly what you want to be doing, Harry, is pushing out the side, backing off when he's got no health. And while all this is going down, he's keeping people pinned back in here. They're racking up time.
They're racking up time, and they're also racking up this stronghold as well. And now look, total control here for Team Infused. And Quad, fair enough, doesn't have the most kills in the game right now. You can see in the kill feed, Kimbo is doing absolute work as well. Snaky chiming in here and there, but Quad's putting down a lot of assists, man. And he's one of those players, again, similar to a snipe drone type of player. Very flank orientated, as well as the fact that he puts down a lot of damage as well. And that really helps out Infused's slaying capacity.
Just really quickly want to give a massive shout out to our sponsors, Astro Gaming. We do have a link now, esl.pm/Astro. They have got some goodies on sale for you guys. If you want to pick up a cracking headset, dive on in now, boot that link up and check out some of the awesome products. They do have the HCS speaker tags on sale. They are absolutely incredible. They look gorgeous.
Wow, HCS speaker tags? Where can I get those? What's that link again? esl.pm/Astro. Interesting.
You are the worst.
I'm a shill.
You are the worst. But you know, Astro Gaming, big shout out to those. They've done nothing but support me.
Sponsor me, Astro.
Support Halo for so many years now. Every event you see them supporting the FFA, supporting the events. From years ago, you've seen players using the mix amps online. They're just a fantastic company, and it's a pleasure to have them on this journey with us throughout the HCS Pro League. Back to the game, though, Harry, what you seeing?
I love that play from Snaky. Even if his team doesn't grab the kills right there, he's still got the reset and escapes with his life. So even if his team doesn't grab the slays, that's a perfect play from Snaky. I want to swap over to Kimbo, though, because like we saw before, he's chiming in with kills in the kill feed, and he's just picked himself up a new camouflage. I believe the last overshield was actually picked up by xer on the exceL side, but that was burned. And look at this score, by the way, 57-0. And fair enough, exceL going to start putting points on the board, but Kimbo's behind them all, and he's already picked himself up a double.
A bit too late, though. Could have been a goose. A little bit too late, but you know what?
Club.
I'm going to see Batchford dropping down there. Kimbo still with camo. That grenade, though, from Shady found its target. xer comes in with the ground pound onto Batchford. He's going to drop also, so they will keep the 2-plot advantage, but 50 points down. That's a big statement coming out of Infused straight off the mark, Harry. That's a big mountain to climb.
Yeah, you say that, but remember the first game that we saw of this season? I mean, Supremacy had this similar sort of lead, and Invictus still managed to pull it back. And at this scoreline at the moment, a lot of people are going to say, exceL, they had to qualify for Pro League. They're not that good of a squad. They really are. Don't forget, exceL won the last scrim between these two teams, so they're certainly for real. Shady is one of those players who was lighting up the open circuit, and another stand on the pit right there from exceL means they're actually going to maintain control right here through another wave of respawns.
In theory, this is Shady's second time round in Pro League. He actually qualified for the previous one.
With Bittersweet, right?
With Bittersweet, exactly. With Warlord, who's on this roster. He qualified for him, but unfortunately, due to team changes, they didn't have enough members to keep that spot. So this is the second time he qualified. They booted out Prophecy, took their spot. Ground pound comes in. Shady will at least eliminate Snaky, but you know, and you kind of mentioned it, Harry. What happened in the previous game when it was, you know, we saw the comeback coming out of, out of Invictus. Is this the story of Strongholds? We see these, it's such a rubber band game type that it has the ability for this to happen.
It does, but a lot of it hinges on the losing team grabbing this power-up. Infused made a perfect play right there, pushing out of Blue, really fortifying that fan area and making sure they grab this power up. And now it's Batchford with it. And with this extra shields, Batchford's going to be able to reclaim the pit without taking a lick of damage pretty much. And still has an overshield to play with here as well. So this is kind of a nightmare scenario for exceL. Getting overrun for that overshield. Really good play by infused, don't get me wrong, but exceL, if they grab that overshield, then they can really make the comeback happen. But this has really allowed infused right back into the game.
It feels like a steamroller. When you grab that OS, you drop down into pit, they're going to challenge you because the time's going down. You then slaughter them in the pit, but then you just roll on in. You just roll on into that base quite happily, push them out, take the base, and away you go. Rooting for Batchford with Team Infused this next series. That's from KA Smurf. Thank you very much for the tweet. You guys at home, make sure you keep tweeting them in. We'll pull up more, and as many as we can throughout the entirety of the Pro League. Double kill coming out of Shady. Morga also takes down Kimber, so 3 members all but a moment down for Team Infused. They've got the second plot, and they've now started to get a few points on the board, 78 to 34. Still a big lead, but as you mentioned, anything can happen on Stronghold.
I want to give a massive shout out actually to Batchford. Him getting that kill on Shady we saw on the kill feed around 5 to 6 or so seconds ago was very important because Snaky actually went down first for Team Infused. The first kill on Empire Strongholds, very important. Also, it basically just allows your team to push out, and now you can see Snaky going down again. It's now Infused trapped on waves of respawns. You can see Quad going down 3 seconds after Snaky did. And that's going to allow numbers advantage for exceL for, that period of time. And it's going to allow Warlord here to flank round behind the enemy team's base. But those 3 kills from Infused, great slaying power. It's going to be 4 down, and that will be total control in just a moment if they can push round to the red base here for Team Infused.
I mean, I want to give a big shout out to Batchford in general anyway, because, this is essentially the first time he's competed at this kind of level during Halo 5, not previous Halos before. And we all know it's a bit of a meme, but the amount of times he's become FA throughout his entirety of doing this in his professional career, but he still keeps at it. He still comes back. Even when things get him down, he's still firing there. He's still having a crack at the Pro League. He's still always playing at the top of his game. He doesn't let it get him down. It doesn't let him push him back. So, shout out to him. Players like that, sometimes you see them get down, they just can't be asked anymore, and they'll just kind of give up and lay over. But someone like Batchford, and there are many other players out there that just keep going, keep pressuring, keep attacking that open circuit. We see players that have never been in the Pro League now. That's what it's all about.
Don't do it. He's your ex-teammate, Batchford. What are you doing? Have some respect. Oh, he's such a nice guy.
I take everything back I've just said.
He's such a nice guy.
that I've just said.
How can you stare at his body like that? That's so rude. Morga's like the nicest guy in the world.
How can you do that to Peter? It's not fair. Don't do that to Peter.
Don't do the Dutch accent.
It's amazing. We were actually playing with him last night,
and
his brother killed me. But never mind, we won't talk about that one. So there you have it. Team Infused stamping their presence on game number 1. We'll bring up the scoreboard in just a second. 100 points to 48 was the final score. I'm bigging up Batchford at the end, talking about him playing on, and he's teabagging his old teammates.
Rude.
Very rude.
Disrespectful.
I take everything I said back. You're a horrible human being.
Insubordinate and churlish. That's what I think that is. Just a great slaying performance all round from Team Infused. Snaky doing a lot of damage with those 10 assists. Batchford up there with 11 as well. And on the other side, it's a tough game for Morga and Zer. First time in the Pro League. They've tried on a couple of occasions, didn't quite make it in, fell at the final hurdle twice, I do believe, at the Open Circuit final in the summer season and fall season 2016. So first taste of Pro League action for these guys is not the best. Shady 13 and 15, not so bad. We'll take a quick glimpse at the damage dealt. Shady actually the most on his team, but the damage dealt compared to the other team, Team Infused is just head and shoulders above Team exceL right there.
Welcome to the Pro League, boys. I will be your guide in the form of Team Infused. Yes, indeed. That was a little bit of a heartbreaker, but there's still 3 more matches of this series to go. It's potentially 6 if we can push it all the way to a game number 7. You can see scores on the doors. Infused take game number 1. Next up will be Truth Slayer. But I've got to say, Harry, I'm worried. I'm very, very worried because that is a really, really sick Infused roster, and that is a very fired up start for a game number 1. Fair enough, it wasn't a whitewash. No. It was at the start, but as you mentioned, they did bring it back. When it comes to slaying, definitely think Infused are well in control of this camp.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But at the same time, if you look at the scrim result, again, we keep bringing up scrim results.
But you've been right so far.
been right so far, as well as the fact we don't have any Pro League data to go on, right? So it's not like we can take previous Pro League games into consideration because this is the first day of the new season. That game actually went 100-39 in favor of Infused in the scrim as well. So it could be a case of that just being a weak game type for exceL. They did better than they did in the scrim, getting 48 points in comparison to 39, but they didn't actually play this next game type in that scrim. So a potential for exceL to get themselves back in the series and catch Team Infused off guard here on Truth Slayer.
So here we go then. Tweet the stream, use the hashtag HCS, whether you're watching on Twitch or whether you are watching on Mixer. It's a pleasure to have you joining us this evening for the European HCS Pro League Summer 2017, day number 1. Europe kicking things off with a bang. 2-4-0 so far in our first 2 matches. Can we round it off and make it a full 3? Initial kill goes to Snakey, opening up the board. Mora will fall. Kimbo pushing hard on P2. Zer just trapped in his bottom basement at the moment, while exceL, aka Snakey, I believe he just grabbed the camo.
Yeah, that actually, that first kill from Infused, one of the fastest first kills I've actually seen on Truth Slayer.
Don't actually know where he got the kill, because I thought it was in P2, but that was Kimbo.
I think honestly it was a melt cross map into the base. It was I certainly heard more than one gun firing on the Infused side, so Morgan, a very nasty surprise. But Snakey grabbing his team, the first camouflage of the game, that's going to open up a lot of possibilities here for Team Infused. All they need to do is hold and make people weak, like they've just done right there for Snakey to clean up, and this could really be bad news bears here for Team exceL. Very important kill there from Morga, taking down Snakey. That's the camouflage player out of the game.
7-3, a nice start for Team Infused. Quadius will hang back for a second, hide behind the shield, and get his own shields back. Now he's going to sprint over to P2 and take control. One player is going to be Zerg, steamboating up P2 ramp. He'll chase it, try and get away onto P3. He's overextending a little bit too much, but then again, I didn't realize he did have Morga hot on his heels, so he is forced out of that base. Morga will grenade inside the base, trying to catch some spawners there, but 2 players, they know exactly where the grenades are coming from. But look at Patience of Batchford, Harry. He's literally just hanging there, thinks, nope, not today. Just gonna move away from that one.
And it's very important as a team when the other team has both towers in their possession to make those kind of patient plays. Fair enough, Bachelor will go down right there, but that's going to allow Kimbo and Quad. Kimbo picked up 2, Quad got 1 of his own as well, and now look, they're able to push out of the base. They're no longer trapped, and they still maintain this 3-kill lead. Camouflage coming up in the next 20 or so seconds. It was Snakey to grab the previous one here for Team Infused, so they're going to know the timing on the next one. Very important for exceL to start making a coordinated push towards this pink tower and make sure they get kills and grab that camouflage.
Does it feel a little bit slow to you? I feel like everyone's kind of tucked away in bases at the moment.
This is certainly a much more methodical game than we saw in the last series, right? When we saw the lads versus 2D, it was very scrappy, like you pointed out during the commentary, and Morgan there returning the favour on one of the Infused players, getting a bit of his own back end. That was actually a very nice push there from exceL, because they got the kills at Pink Tower, and it looks like they grabbed the camouflage here with Warlord as well, and that's going to allow him to pick up a few kills. It's going to be Zer here with the tactical Magnum. First time we're seeing that, but Warlord was just taken down as we see in the kill feed, so the camouflage a non-factor there for the exceL squad.
And now we'll see the tac mag coming into play. Will he be able to survive long enough though? No grenades are there. He does indeed. Full shield, just checking the base. He's got a teammate with him, remember. The radar changes, so he won't be able to see any players below the base. He's simply relying on call-outs, Harry.
I have to give a massive shout out there to Quad. We saw on the player outlines, he was trapped in red. He felt the pressure from the exceL team coming into the base, and he just flat out ran to Carbine. And now look, he has help with teammates, and now it's Zer getting pinned back into red. Very important rotation there. Very minute, very small play to make there from Quad, but very, very impressive and very mature to make.
I rarely get to see anything from HCS, but I'm glad I was able to catch what I could before work. Thanks for the great time, guys. GG. That's from Vort. Thank you so much for tuning in, Vort. And thank you so much to everybody else out there who's tuning in, tweeting the stream, and generally just getting involved in Halo eSports globally. We've got a cracking program at the moment. We've got 2 Pro Leagues running, and we've got a DreamHack coming up at Atlanta for our finals. There will also be live North American relegation. That is going to be truly, truly incredible. 2 teams, potentially new open teams, could be booting out 2 pro teams and making it into the champ bracket. That's going to be an awesome event. Make sure you are there. You can grab your tickets now. But back to the game. Snakey will fall, and as he does, Harry, 8 minutes on the clock, all drawn up 20 apiece.
Yeah, as you say, 8 minutes on the clock means the camouflage coming up soon. It was a Warlord to grab the last one for exceL, so Just watch out for that going forward. It's actually exceL with pink 2 control right now as well, so you'd have to favor them knowing the timing as well as having the map control to grab the next camouflage. And you can see the height control really just working in exceL's favor.
Wow.
That's all 4 down for Team Infused. Quad burned the camouflage, so they'll know the timing on the next one, but they surrender the lead, and now look, they're spawning at Carbine. They don't have a base. If exceL play this perfectly, they could extend it to a massive lead. Killing spree for Shady.
It's happening. It's happening. We're going to see Snakey just over in the bubble, left all alone. Last man standing. Grenades will come down. His teammates drop 1, 2, 3, 4 members of exceL are all facing down on Snakey. But I've got to question it, Harry. Is it good to have all 4 teammates together in that one corner?
It's very questionable, right? I mean, fair enough, you have 2 players pushing from blue and 2 players pushing from red, 2 Carbine for Team exceL, but like you said, I mean, you're surrendering both bases right there. They got all 4 kills and they got a lead because of it, which is very well played from them. But now Infused, they're in red and they can that basically gives them a platform to work from. In my opinion, it was the right play to make. They got the kill lead. It's just about now whether or not they can maintain that going forward as Batchford picks up 2.
And make that 3rd. That's going to be a triple. Looking for the over. He'll want it. He'll chase it, but Shady says, no, I'm not giving you that one, my little Scottish friend. He's going to back down there. Batchford will jump up on the ledge and get an angle on that corner for anybody else who wants to come around. And as you can see on the player outlines, guys, this is where exceL will be spawning. Shots are coming in. He sees them. Here's the call out as well. So he's just going to sit here for a second on this ledge and wait for them to push into him. That's going to be Zer. Just so you guys at home know as well, there is a Morg and a Morger, both on Team exceL. Can get a little bit confusing, but they are 2 separate people. Batchford still creeping around, full shields. Doesn't get the call out for the guy over in the bubble though, so you need to be careful of him, Harry.
Yeah, it was exceL who trapped Infused at Carbine, and now look, it's Infused kind of doing the same, trapping them in red and Carbine. Perfect flank and perfect pinch there from Batchford. He had Quad putting damage down into red. Batchford comes around by Carbine, and it's really well played from Infused. Batchford doesn't get that kill right there, but look, now they're in the lead by 2. They were down by 6. They're up by 3 now, and if they grab this next camouflage, which it looks like it's going to go into the hands of Snakey,
they can make a choice.
A bit of a missed decision right there. Do you want it? No. To me, to you, to me,
and now they're both dead.
They're both dead now, yes. So very interesting kind of scenario.
Kind of backed off, didn't he, as he saw it?
Again, I really like the rotations here from Quad. I mean, he felt the pressure inside of blue right there, backed off to pink, maintained his team a little bit of map control.
And now they're going to regroup over at pink tower, moving into the base. Also, 1, 2 members of exceL pushing up onto that P side. We got Warlord though, taking control of top mid and just hanging around, and he knows that nobody's on the opposing side of the base. Quad will try and blow up that plasma nade, try and get some damage off on him, but unfortunately it does not happen. But look at the flank coming from behind. He knows he needs to get the hell out of there because exceL, they're creeping up behind him, Harry.
Yeah, perfectly called. He does need to get out of there because the exact same thing that Infused did to exceL, exceL's doing to them now. exceL had Infused trapped in red. Quad felt the pressure coming from pink, and again, it's just rotated around to this Carbine side. His team doesn't have the lead anymore, but by Quad staying alive and being a nuisance, he could potentially flank this player at top Carbine, which is exactly what's happening. That one kind of instance of Quad playing his life right there, it is just so intelligent and has honestly helped his team out massively in terms of map control.
This is a very long game, and we could potentially be going all the way down to the wire, going all the distance in this Truth team. Slayer, Infused, if you are just joining us, are up 1-0. This is your 3rd and final series of the evening at the European Pro League. Nice kill coming out of Quad. Batch will also grab one. We've had 2 4-0s tonight, potentially looking for a 3rd and final one. Wandering around, Quad is on his own, but as we can see on the player outlines, Shady has no support, but he also knows that as well. Quad jumps down, so Shady has the upper hand here. Will jump down. Will he thrust into him? No, he will not. It's Quad who comes out on top. Just beats him down twice. Says, not today, my little friend. See you later. Now he's going to go meet his 2 teammates, and potentially he's going to get spawned on, but I think he's actually accepting the challenge.
He is accepting the challenge because the camouflage is coming out. That's going to allow Kimbo, by Quad facing that kind of red-pink door right there, it doesn't allow players to push out. It makes them basically just have to stay inside the base. Fair enough, Kimbo didn't put the camouflage into good use, and now it's just a 2-kill game. But by Quad, again, just by contesting that one area of the map, it allowed Kimbo to pick up the power-up right there. So very intelligent challenge there, actually, from Quad.
3 minutes remaining on the clock, and we are all tied up. Quad's forced to back off. There's 2 players there. There's one below him as well. Andy's getting tanked up from P2. There's the kill, 1-2. Now they advance their lead by 2, so they can just kind of wander around and be a little bit more passive here. Warlord knows he needs to be careful of this one player that's coming around on the base, but he's got some support from downstairs, Harry.
Yeah, exceL need to find those 2 kills very quickly. There's the first one. They need to find the next one at red, because look at those 2 players steaming into pink 2. It's a 2-kill game. Make it a 1-kill game now with that kill. Xur is going to pick himself up a kill as well. If he can get this one as well, this would help out massively. The trade is actually very big, because if you look, it's now actually just 2 kills needed for exceL to tie up this series. Very, very close game, and Shady's actually using the strong side spot right there. Very interesting.
Harry, hold me.
I'm
Hold me. 2 more kills for exceL. Oh, make that 1, but we'll still see a trade-off from infused. They only need 1 more to tie this up. Batchford's up there. Can he get this kill? Yes, he can. He's 49 each apiece. Batchford's trying to get away with his life. He's still alive somehow. He does go down. Sneaky picks up Morga. Infused clutch it with the final kill. That's insane. Batchford. He survived.
How does he survive on pink 3 right there?
If we can get a replay of that, that was...
Wow.
How?
That's
Batchford's
incredible.
strong side, the living hell out of his life there, and managed to stay alive. That's insane. Literally insane. Like, wall hugged the corner. I've no idea how tanked up it was, and all of a sudden Snakey came in, cleaned up that kill. I'm assuming Snakey will have shot the guy chasing Batchford. Yeah, I'm assuming, because he dropped down low to...
It was Morga flying out the front of the base. I can only assume overextending to try and make that kill happen. I think it's the play to have made right there from Morga. Fair enough, he died, but you have to soar out and try and kill that player on pink 3. He's the player who's exposed. It's the last kill. You have to try and make it happen. But we have to give a massive shout out to Quad. I was praising his point of view throughout the entire of the game, and look at the stats, they back it up as well. Not only did he have smart rotations, but 14 kills, 9 deaths, 12 assists. That's absolutely crazy. And the only player on his team as well to go positive in a 50-49 game.
I'll tell you what, guys, before we jump into this next match, we do actually have a replay of them final few seconds. Can we show you guys at home how this all went down? You look at the score, they tied it up. Badger, look at that, no shields at all. Ducks his head down, takes a bullet, takes another one. Morga bottom mid. Yeah, he went for the kill.
We actually saw, I switched to Morga's point of view, but I wanted to switch to Batchford to see if he stayed alive. We saw Morga was actually at top blue, flew out of the window to try and kill Batchford.
It's pretty nuts.
Batchford stays alive by strong siding on pink 3, and Morga gets cleaned up. It's just how it goes sometimes.
Hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Crookie?
My
words tonight have just been all over the place.
Yeah.
I've got a sore throat, so I'm going with an excuse.
Okay.
2-0. Infused are leading the charge here. Will we be seeing another 4-0? It's looking likely as we roll on into game number 3. We'll bring up the scores in just a second. In fact, you can see some of the kills and everything that's been going down at the bottom, the team rosters and everything else about the European Pro League. But it was close, you know? We have to give at least credit to exceL for putting up that level of a fight.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. People kind of counting out exceL before the league's even started. This is a really solid team, in my opinion. They can really cause upsets, and it's a nightmare matchup for some teams in the league. I'm particularly looking forward to seeing exceL play the lads, because I honestly think the lads could definitely get caught off guard by this team, as well as Divine Domination as well. But we are still in this series. Capture the flag on Colosseum. Coming back to that scrim result, 5-3, exceL won that scrim, and this was the first game type in this series that they actually won. They won this 3-1, despite Infused outslaying them 40-35 in that game. So Infused, very good at slaying on this map, but watch out for exceL's sneaky flag runs.
Here we go then, on board with Xur, Rocket and Sniper in play. 2 big power weapons. And just generally your staple Halo map. I mean, it's one of my favourite maps, is Colosseum, without a doubt. It's pretty standard Halo, right? You can control one side and run a flag, but you've got to watch out for those power weapons indeed. Warlord moving down from S3, just checking all his corners, knows the player down here.
That is huge.
That's so passive. Just waiting and kind of preempt him. He didn't have to take that shot, otherwise he would have had a fight on his hands, but to get that back quite like that, just think, you know what? Doesn't know where I am.
Yeah.
Let's wait a second and we'll get some free rockets,
It
boys.
was so well played, not only to get the kill, but to adjust the angle to ensure he got that back smack. And like you said, not firing a shot, because if he fires a shot right there, Batchford just gets the rockets out and just makes sure that he gets that kill. Batchford has the rockets again. In case you were wondering what Zer was doing right there, he was just trying to waste some ammo because he knows how good Kimbo is with that weapon. It's actually Kimbo who's picked it up as well. So Zer there just trying to do a little bit of damage limitation right there. And very smart that he does so as well, because Coliseum capture the flag, power weapons galore. If you give a man like Kimbo a sniper, he can really just come back to haunt you later on in the game.
Let's hope that he's better with the sniper than Batchford is with the rockets. That were 2 windy rockets he did fire. One player's going to try and tag him up though. Loses his mind. That's going to be Warlord. Down he goes. Shady trades back. Snaky pushes in also. Snaky in the corner. And look at this aggressive push, but they've not actually... In fact, he does go down. So now Kimbo's going to be watching that angle, watching the basement as well. One will drop, and they're just going to run down past the old AR spawn, Harry, past the old scatter shot, and try and make it to the opponent's elbow, which they have done. Pre-grenaded. Unfortunately, me personally, I would really liked him just to grab that flag and not mess around, because then he would have given himself a few more seconds at least. Yeah. Instead, tried to get the kill. I mean, fair enough, it could have been a return if it happened.
That was his intention. He wanted to try and grab that flag, but you have to contest with that player who's coming from window, because if you don't, it's just a free kill, right? I mean, he tried to make both happen at the same time. His intention definitely was to pull that flag, but if there's a player blocking you coming from window, it's kind of impossible. So do feel for Morga right there, but it's Kimbo still last bullet of snipe, and he connects with Warlord's dome. That is beautiful.
That is the quickest quick scope of 2017, and then sticks the player that's chasing him. That was insane. What a shot. What a beautiful shot.
It was beautiful, definitely. But Morga has the rockets here from exceL, and fair enough, he goes down, but those rockets still on the side, I do believe. In fact, they might even be out of ammo as well, so maybe no rockets in play right here for Team exceL. I was going to say, if exceL eSports can grab themselves a power weapon like the sniper that's coming up in 5 seconds and start getting some kills on the board, then certainly they can get right back in this game in terms of grabbing some map control. But because of these kills coming in from Team Infused, you can watch the kill feed. It's just constant infused action. It's going to be Kimbo allowed to run this flag, and look at where he's got it.
Moving across indeed. Just letting this game calm down for a bit. We'll see exactly where people like. It's all a little bit messy. They are going to get the return in the end. Snaky picks up 2, thankfully. Quadius, though, with the sniper rifle, will be allowed to at least transition to the opposing side. Goes for the hard scope, but doesn't find a target whatsoever. That sniper rifle's going to drop down, Harry, as the kills have kind of been traded off back and forth, which is what you get in between these flag pulls. Does pick up that kill. Snaky's trying to stay alive. Will do the ground pound stall, at least to stop him from advancing into the opponent's cave. And what better thing to find at your feet than a cheeky sniper rifle with an absolute ton of ammunition.
One thing that's very actually surprising from the Team Infused dynamic, Snaky will pretty much put this flag in, no problem, that's going to be 2-0, but it's actually Kimbo doing the majority of the objective work for this Infused squad. Very interesting. Usually in the past, you remember back on the old Fab E squad that featured Kimbo, as well as previous Infused iterations, it was usually Snaky or other players on the squad to start doing the objective. This is definitely a facet of Kimbo's game that we haven't really seen before, him going in and being the first player in and doing that objective for his team. So I really like that he's kind of adding that asset to his game.
I mean, you've got to play to, one, what the team needs at the time, but what the player needs at the time. And just really quickly in the corner watching HCS makes me want to get on and play some Halo 5 HCS Summer Playlist. You know what? I'm going to go with that one as well, because the amount of times I'll be watching NA Halo is just like, I'm going to jump on. And then when I do jump on, I realize that I'm nowhere near as good as them.
Yeah, I actually feel for Warlord right there. I don't know if anyone actually saw, he actually got the double reload while going towards the window with the rockets, and that kind of stalled all of exceL's push. He could have potentially picked up a couple of players in the base right there, but instead he's going to be staying alive and grabbing himself an extra couple of kills. He's found a sniper for his troubles as well, but now we can actually start to see exceL start moving this flag. 3 down for Infused for right now, and it's going to be Batchford the last alive. So this really should be a flag capture on the board for Team exceL, and this is going to make things interesting. With this 6-minute mark coming up in around 45 seconds, Sims, the sniper and the rockets both spawn on the map. So it's going to be interesting to see where both teams kind of put their resources. Do they kind of commit for the rockets and then try and push for the sniper afterwards, or do they grab the sniper to try and take out any players going for the rockets? It's going to be an interesting dynamic coming up in around 30 seconds.
Yep, you can see the time is ticking down on those rockets across on the weapon pad. Morgu, he will just opt to drop into basement. The flag has been moved out of the base at least. He's just looking to try and get defensive. He'll probably get an easy back whack here. He gets one, doesn't finish the kill off. Snaky's allowed, I believe it was Snaky. I think, yes, he was indeed. He's allowed to stay alive. Kimbo is coming in hard on the defensive side, though, but we're going to see a nice assist. Warlord comes in, says, thank you very much. That flag's mine. But they've got to do something. They've got to do it fast because look at where their flag is, Harry. They know that if Infused are allowed to capture this, that is game, set. Not match because we're in a best of 7, but it certainly puts them that little bit harder to get to that final goal.
So we were talking about the 6-minute mark. That's been and gone. The sniper's still on the respawn. It was actually Kimbo to grab the rockets for Infused. I would have to applaud the play from Morga right there, stalling the Infused squad, and it's basically kept his team in the game. Warlord picking up 2. That's actually 3 down now for Infused. Snaky, the last alive. He does have a spawner with him, so that's going to make things a little bit easier, but yeah, not surprised to see him drop that flag off and start slaying right here, because the exceL players, they're coming for that return.
So what do we go? Do we go to a final 5th flag, or do we see Infused put this one away and call it 3-0? We'll find out, hopefully, in the next few minutes. Shady moving in aggressively. The return is possible, but 2 members of Infused. The issue that Shady has is he could potentially, if he doesn't get this, give away a free sniper rifle, which is exactly what he's done. So he did try and get the flag return, which is fair play, but in doing so, he's given them a free present, Harry.
Yeah, and it's actually Quad here who's very much pushed up, and yeah, it's one of those plays from Shady. You make that play, you're a hero. If you don't, you're the pantomime villain, and it's Snaky now with the sniper, like you said. So yeah, shame that it didn't come off for Shady right there. I think it's one of those plays you have to attempt to make, but didn't quite come off for him in the end.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's do or die for both these teams, right? Next flag is... it's going to be monumental, or monumentous, as you like to so commonly call it. Snaky, though. Sniper rifle, this is dangerous. Quad comes in, tags him up with the DMR, and look at the flood. I just see a sea of red all over my screen, and all of a sudden, Infused, they are up 3-1. That's going to be the game, and that is how you coordinate a push. That was perfect Halo at the end there from Infused.
Yeah, it was very well played from them. The danger when you send 3 players for the recurve is the fact you're leaving your flag player alone. Batchford actually was being pushed by, I believe, Shady at the end. So if Batchford gets caught out right there in a one-on-one and he dies, the return's pretty much gifted to Shady. But
though.
Snaky, 17-9. Very nice performance from him. I actually want to check out the flag grabs from Kimbo because, yeah, check it out. 3 from Kimbo. Very rare we see him doing that amount of objective. It's very nice to see on this Infused roster that he's willing to chime in on that side as well.
Awesome, awesome stuff. Not the best of game once again from Shady there. Down at the bottom, 8-13. 17-13 though, coming out of Warlord. Big Stu stepping up to the plate. A little bit better than what he did last time we saw him on this stage when he pulled out a goose, unfortunately. Zer, 10-13. 9-14 coming out of Morga. So, again, it was towards that end play there. They were still kind of in it. Fair enough, it ended 3-1, but that game could quite easily still be going on and rolling into overtime. Yeah,
very, very true. Based on the scrim result, right, where exceL won that game type 3-1, despite Infused outslaying them, I feel like the difference between that type of game where I didn't personally get to watch that game, but when you see the stats where Infused are outslaying you, it's usually where exceL are allowed to sneak around the backside and start putting kind of almost scrappy flag runs together and they somehow get it in, right? I feel like Infused power weapon control in that game in particular prevented exceL from doing that. We saw Snaky a lot with the sniper, we saw Kimbo a lot with the rockets. In fact, all of Infused, I believe, had at least 1 power weapon in their possession at some point or another in that game. So Infused doing very well controlling the power weapons there on Coliseum.
So here we have it then, guys. The map is live. It's going to be Strongholds on Eden. This has the potential to be the very last map of the European Pro League week #1 before we roll on into the North American Pro League later on in a few hours' time tonight. Tweet the stream, use the hashtag HCS. I want to thank you in advance, everybody, again, for tuning in. You guys are the real MVPs. Thank you so much for the tweets of support that me and Harry keep receiving. Also, hey, we do it for you guys. We have as much fun. As long as you guys are having fun, if you've got any feedback at all on the league, the format, whatever, you can always at me on Team Beyond. I'm there, and especially with the casting, we always look to try and improve the casting. We've heard the feedback about for a little bit of dead air, more of a conversation, more on the analytical, less of the heavy play-by-play, and that's what we're aiming for this season and for the rest of the future. Harry, Whose POV we're looking at and what's going on?
We're looking at Shady right now. It was a shame that his nade didn't work out at the start of this game in particular. We saw Quad beelining for the overshield. Again, when you're red team, you're almost guaranteed to grab the overshield because you just have that more favorable spawn. It's just a lot easier for you to straight line that overshield. And when you grab the overshield, most of the time you're going to get the rockets, but in that particular case, Quad not able to make the kill happen with those. So Shady's gifted himself a free rocket pretty much. So if he can get a kill with this and play this very smart like he's doing right now, a lot of players like bringing the rockets over towards the tower because if you start going in the catwalk, you can take down a player in the catwalk very easily with the rocket launcher. So yeah, Shady, oh no, he's been backsmacked from Kimbo. Radar kid alert, radar kid.
Can't do him like that,
yeah,
man.
I
Come
just
on.
did it. What's up?
Come on, that's what I'm saying. That he actually got a good play to at least get those rockets, but it kind of reminded me about that meme with those two guys. Like, you picked up these rockets. You picked up these rockets.
These are your rockets?
These are your rockets.
These are mine.
I picked up these rockets. Passing them back and forth. Finally, they do land on infused hands, but we've had a couple of pass the parcel with them. We'll see who we can get some more kills. Zerd does go for the stick. He accepted his fate, didn't he? He completely accepted his fate then.
Yeah,
he knew what was going down.
Kind of what you have to do. 3 down for exceL, and it's actually a key point in the game because in 3 seconds the rockets come up, and Kimbo, I believe, doesn't. He still has the 1 rocket, so he could potentially use this in tandem with Snakey, who just picked them up, to grab the overshield, which is exactly what they're doing. Snakey takes down 1, Kimbo takes down the other, and there you go. Overshield secured with both those rocket launchers. Perfectly played from Infused.
2 rockets and an OS. And 2 plots.
And a camo?
And a camo.
Add it to the list.
This is just... Yeah. This is messy. How do you... If you're exceL, how do you get around this?
Well,
this is rough.
It's similar to what we saw in the previous 2 series, right? I mean, Eden Strongholds revolves around every 2 minutes a momentum change, right? That's 4 down for exceL, so no doubt a triple cap, total control coming in favor of Infused. But this game type really does change every 2 minutes. In 2 minutes time, if exceL can break this triple cap, which is their first objective, if they can break this triple, then when the 8-minute mark comes up, grab the rockets and the overshield and the camouflage, we could see a complete swing in this game. But for now, the objective for Infused, keep slaying like they're doing, because that's again 3 down for exceL, and this total control is still rolling.
Look at it, it's ticking up. 2 points at a time. Usually when you have 2 plots, you will get 1 tick at a time, but when you have 2 plots, you will see it go up in times of 2. So, 3 plots still in control of Team Infused, and honestly, I think we're going to see this for the majority of the game. This is... Stop, they're already dead.
Well, I mean, you say that, but all it takes is 1 good push to stop the bleeding from exceL, and there you go. They might hemorrhage another death right here, and as a result, Infused can play retake on this blue bend. So yeah, you're right. They need to stop. They're already dead.
I just feel like the Slayers and the pure aggression you kind of saw with Zer earlier on when he stopped and accepted his fate. And fair enough, it was, you know, a normal person, you would have died straight away, and he didn't expect to be staying alive. But I kind of feel like this is they've given up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's make or break for exceL right now in the game. I mean, you can see they kind of had these tower spawns, which is very favorable for Infused because, as you just heard, the rocket launcher is on the field. Looks like Infused have a great positioning to grab those, and it's going to be Snakey once again, twice in a row, so 2 rockets in a row, and the overshield going in favor of Infused, and that, in my opinion, is exceL's hopes for the next minute at least of getting back in the game completely dashed.
I mean, I want to say how do you deal with this, but I'm sorry, the only way to deal with this is to stop missing them yourself and actually make them yours. They need to get these rockets, they need to get this OS. They're not doing it. They've just picked up a camo and he's dead. You know, he is gone, he's out of there, fam. Unfortunately, power weapon and power-up control, Team Infused at the moment, they are destroying exceL, and simply it's just through these rockets and through this OS, they're allowed to do whatever they want on the playing field.
Yeah, they are, and whether or not it was intentional by Team Infused, by forcing the exceL squad to spawn at tower when those particular power-ups and power weapons were coming up, I don't know, but it certainly helped them out in terms of grabbing those, because when you force the other team to spawn at tower, they are so far away. They're on the other side of the map from the rockets. They have no sight lines on them, and when you grab the rockets, you have turbine control with that power weapon, and you're looking down from above on the overshield. It's so easy. It's pretty much free for you to grab the overshield when you have the rockets. So good play from Infused, getting 2 rockets overshields in a row, and now look, it's 97 to 20.
But I think they're about to get blue, which they do. And we have seen It has happened before. We've seen comebacks at 99 points, and we've even seen it in the European Pro League. I don't think it's going to happen now, but it's possible.
It's possible, but not when Warlord gets taken out by Snaky when he has the rockets. That's, in my opinion, the hopes and dreams of exceL completely gone. And Sir knows it.
No re. exceL, they will fall to Team Infused, 100 points, 225 in that 4th game, and we will complete the set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 sweeps tonight. Day number 1. Oh, excuse me, week number 1 of the European HCS Pro League. But I've got to give credit to the losing teams. There were signs of life. In all 3 teams, there were signs of life. There were close games, which honestly, I don't expect to be seeing 4-0s every single week.
Certainly not. This series in particular, that Truth Slayer, right? The 50-49, where it's literally a game of inches, a game of tens of damage put on Batchford at the end of that game, and exceL tie up the series 1-1. The entire series landscape completely changes at that point if Batchford goes down. Infused, they just came up clutch. I mean, look at this game from Kimbo. 13 and 11 assists from him, just the 4 deaths. And looking at the damage dealt, again, that kind of just mirrors it. Snaky, almost 2,000 damage from him. Just the 3 kills from Zer. Feels bad, man.
Feels morgue, man.
But exceL, again, that's the 4-0 is harsh on them, considering the performances they put up in the games in this series.
It feels harsh on Zer as well, because I know that man can do better than that. He's a great player. He's a great individual talent. He's shown it through the open circuit. He showed it last season as well. He's almost, I believe this is 3rd time lucky for him. This is the 3rd time in the open where he's finally now got through. But you're at the big leagues. You've made it. You've now got to prove that you're worth it. You're up here. You're playing with the big boys. There's 4 spots in that champ bracket over in Atlanta. You've got to step up to the plate. Otherwise, when you get there, you're simply going to get eaten alive.
But it's worth noting as well, the series this season definitely not over for exceL, right? You have to remember, this Infused team is widely regarded as the 2nd best team in Europe right now. You have to go up against them week 1, and that's a tough week 1 game in my opinion. And exceL, they'll be looking forward to matches, like I said before. That shot, by the way, is just absolutely beautiful. But they'll be looking forward to matchups against the lads, who I think they match up very well against. 2D as well is certainly a scalp they can take. If they take a series off any other team, I think it's Invictus they have left to play, as well as Supremacy. They take